How about if you'd like to create dynamic websites? Well, AppDrag has you covered, as it includes a cloud backend where you can create tables and write APIs in various languages such as SQL, Node, Python, and more. If you select Node.js, AppDrag suggests a few examples of commonly used functions like sending an SMS or generating an email. So I'm going to show you how simple and intuitive Cloud Backend is. We're going to create a simple table called users, which will contain a few columns. So let's put in a full name, which will be of type text, an email, which will also be of type text, a newsletter, which will be a Boolean, and a last update, which will be of type timestamp. Now that our table is set, let's write an add user API using the visual SQL tool. And since we're inserting the user, it's going to be a visual insert. So we get a few options that I won't really get into, but what's important is selecting the table which we will insert into and creating the parameters. So those will be full name, and we put in an example, email, an example, newsletter, which is a Boolean, so we'll put in a 1, and that's that. Right below is the mapping of our parameters to the tables column. So the full name will go with full name, the email with email, the newsletter with the newsletter, and the timestamp will be an SQL formula of now. Once all is done, hit try, and as you can see, it's a success. We open our table, and there's our user. So now that our table and API work great, let's integrate them with our front end. In this column, I'm going to add in a few components under Cloud Backend inputs. I get a whole lot to choose from, but all we need is a name, an email, and a radio. For the radio, I go to values to change the individual values. And now the button. So I'm going to find the button from here and drag it into my form. Double clicking into the button will give me choices of options I have pertaining to this button. So we could add or modify the font awesome icon, change the content, tweak the design, and of course associate it with an action. And that could be a link to a page, an anchor, or a website, and so on. Or it can trigger any of these actions right here. For example, if I want to run some JavaScript, all I need to do is enter the code in here and hit save. But we're going to choose Cloud Backend and enable it. In this dropdown are the APIs associated with my project. Once I select it, I automatically get the parameters that we added in the backend, as well as the sources I just created on my front end. Match each one accordingly. Let's opt for a success message and save. Now let's test our form. So we hit preview, fill it out, click add, and here's our success message. Let's go back to the database, and there's our new user. Another really useful tool that you can find on Cloud Backend is the API documentation. Here's where you'll find all of your APIs with the body inputs and with the auto-generated code for its call in all of these languages. So you can test your API to see what it returns, and then you could copy the code, say in jQuery, and paste it in your front end using a source code block. Feel free to visit our website support section for more tips, tricks, tutorials, and documentation.